What made you come here today?
I feel very strongly that we need to make the point today. I'm a member of the British National Party, and I feel very strongly that somebody needs to speak out against what's going on in this country. I see radical Islam rising. I see my people being chased down and slaughtered in the streets. I see children on my estates in Stoke-on-Trent and other parts of this country who are being ritually abused by foreigners. And I feel strongly that somebody needs to make a point about that here outside Parliament.
I see the local English people are getting hammered by foreigners. They're suffering persecution, the big persecution from Muslims and blacks and Asians, and they're really trying to destroy the English people's nations, genocide against the English. So I showed up to show solidarity with the English or the other local people.
And I believe it's time people started standing up and looking after our culture, looking after our country. We need a voice. This country's been too quiet for too long. There's nobody doing anything. And if it weren't for the British National Party, what voice have we got?
And I don't like what happened the other week to a soldier on the streets of London, being hacked to death by radicalised people that have been radicalised within mosques, which the government allow. They don't put a stop to it.
Support our troops and stand together, because no one ever does, and it's time to come together because they just take over.
Well, this very serious incident that occurred 2 weeks ago, if we can't make a fuss about this, if we can't complain about these people in our country, who the government just seem to tolerate and blame European law for, then I don't know what. This must be about the most serious things to have occurred in years, since 7/7.
Well, because of one of our soldiers was hacked down, and I came to pay my respects. And it's important to show that we care about the British people.
Just to show support for the BNP and for the British people to start opening up their eyes, for things what actually start going on. After the death of the soldier, it's made me open my eyes a lot more. I think taking that onto the street. It's, I know there's wars all over the place. I know it's just one, a lot of people said, it's just one soldier, but that's one soldier on British soil.
I want to make my protest because I think enough's enough. It's gone too far now. These things happening, our own soldiers can't walk down the street without being murdered and attacked. The people need to shake their heads and stand up for what they believe in.
We see Sharia law zones being created in London and other parts of the country. We see no-go zones for white people. You see a lot of slogans on walls saying whites out, etc. And we're seeing Islam taking over, Muslims, Islam, whichever, taking over the country. What made it worse was when we see this on telly, where the Muslims are now starting to behead our people in the public, and in front of families, children. And that just brings it all home,
Pay our respects to the fallen soldier and say that ain't right, you shouldn't attack our army because we're I was absolutely heartbroken. My dad was as well, because these people fight for our country and then Muslim extremists go and cut them down on our own streets. It shouldn't happen. Do you know what I mean? And the government should see our point of view as well.
I was just sort of incensed about what happened in Woolwich and just angry over that, and I thought to support our...
And how was your trip here today?
Well, we tried to come that way, but we got the police wouldn't let us pass, and we had to come through Westminster Abbey, so we came that way. But it was quite terrifying because the anarchists, they were given free rein and they were attacking. They attacked 3 of the BNP activists and they were just walking past. They attacked them, and I went to the police and said, well, what are you doing about it? And they said, there's people there, there's police officers, but they weren't. The police were just letting them beat them up. And another guy, I think he must have been an army guy, he had Help the Heroes t-shirt on. He went up to the police and he made a complaint as well that the police weren't they were just letting it happen. But they're fine. They're fine.
I'm Cliff LeMay from Croydon BNP. Come here today for a peaceful protest to get Muslim hate preachers out of Britain. We're not here to cause trouble. We're not vile racists. I'm a patriot. I'm a British person. I'm a Christian. I'm a patriot. I've come here today to show patriotism, to raise awareness of how Islam is against everything that the West stands for, not just in Britain, but all over Europe. And as we were making our way through, there was myself, there were 2 women in our group, and two other men. We were all attacked. One of them saw my BNP badge. This is my life membership badge, which I'm very proud to own. And I was spat on, I was punched, I was kicked. My best suit was ruined. Luckily, and I would like to thank the Metropolitan Police, luckily they done their bit and they came in and they saved me. I do believe these people would have killed me today.
When we came down to the demo, the police had somehow managed to let UAF get right next to it, and it was the only way to walk through. We got through the first time and the policemen wouldn't let us into the demo, so they turned us back. But unfortunately, I think I'd been recognised by then, and we got absolutely mobbed. They broke my glasses, knocked my glasses off, spat all over me. Absolutely disgusting people. I'm sorry, but they really are disgusting people.
Despite the best attempts of the far left, the Islamo-Marxist mob down there, they can't stop us making our point. And with me to illustrate that is Lee Rigby's MEP, Nick Griffin. Nick, do you want to run through how the day started?
Yes, indeed. Well, obviously, we came down here totally constantly in touch with people. And as we arrived, been told that a few of our people were already here, we came across this leftist mob marching down the road away from where they're supposed to be. I was told by the police that they were going to be at the other side of the Cenotaph, up near Downing Street, so they could have their protest there, while we had our protest here, and that's absolutely the right way to go about things. We should have been allowed, of course, to protest where it was relevant, particularly down outside the Lewisham Islamic Centre, but nevertheless, once the police have made that decision to say that we can demonstrate in one place and the UAF nearby, that would have been fair enough. To allow them down here to lose control was absolutely outrageous. Members of ours have been attacked, other members have been intimidated, unable to get here. Older people especially haven't been able to walk the very significant distance required of them. People haven't known what's going on, so it's cost us numbers, it's cost several of our people's bruises. It's a great shame, but nevertheless, despite that, or perhaps because of what the far left has done, I think that our point is coming across loud and clear.
I think it's come across very, very well, and it's been a long time since I've seen a press pack like that. I did have a reputation for getting a snarling press pack ready for you, but I haven't lost my touch, have I?
That was indeed a good press pack. It was the last time we were here. We were being attacked on the grass by this same mob, some of the same people, throwing darts, throwing bricks and throwing bottles against us and journalists. And as you know, the Metropolitan Police, again, the rank and file, did in the end a very good job of investigating that, getting evidence, and then the people at the top made this outrageous decision to lose the file, so nothing was done. And if there's any police officers today injured by that far left mob, part of the responsibility lies with the senior police officers who have allowed that mob to dominate the streets of London for years. It also rests very squarely with David Cameron, who's one of the sponsors of this far left mob out there, who attacked members of ours, who attacked, including women, and have been fighting with the police on and off for the last hour and a half. That's David Cameron's plausibly deniable militia over there.
Exactly, and there is a very, very serious aspect to why we're here in the first place, and that mob over there is on a sliding scale to the butchers. They're all hand in glove, aren't they, these people? They're attacking our society. On the one hand, you've got murderers, and you've got the other, these people that intimidate, and they try and suppress our democratic rights, haven't they?
They do indeed. When you consider that one of the alleged killers of Lee Rigby has acted in 2009 on film as a spokesman for the UAF, ranting about Islam and the wicked BNP and so on, it absolutely shows. You say it's a continuum. They get involved in something like that just as they get involved in Islam at the mosque, and then from that some of them go on from being radical in mind, radical in spirit, to actually being radical in what they do, and we get blood spilled in our streets.
Well, they've tried to stop us, and they've failed. You've got your point across to many, many media outlets, so I think our job is done, isn't it?
Well, whether, of course, the media will represent what I've said. as you've probably seen, I've said to every single media camera who's done an interview, I've said we agree absolutely with Lee Rigby's family and their request that nobody should use this crisis as an excuse or a reason to attack anybody, including innocent Muslims. Because while we say that Islam is incompatible with the West, that there has to be a divorce between us and Islam, that's not to say that individual Muslims are guilty of anything or even that Islam is bad. It's just that we can't have an Islamic bloc and our ways living side by side, especially when the criminals and the crooks over there in Westminster are running war after war after war on Muslim countries, murdering hundreds of thousands of Muslim children in the case of Iraq, bombing Afghan wedding parties in the case of Afghanistan, about to spend millions more of our money in Syria than probably billions in Iran. All of these in wars that wind up trouble with Islam and with Muslims. And the message I hope that comes across today is that when it all goes horribly wrong, in a way that hasn't yet begun, when the murder of Lee Rigby actually becomes something which is on the inside pages of the newspaper, when that happens and people say, how do we get here, how do we get out of this mess, I hope they'll remember our message when we said, before it explodes, let's get sensible, let's get realistic, let's talk about the fact that Islam doesn't mean peace, Islam means submission, which is why there's a civil war coming. And that our involvement in wars in their country is winding things up and making things worse. And we need a peace deal now, urgently, between Islam and the West. Very simply, we leave their countries and they leave ours.
Thank you.